This episode of the Demonic Compendium contains spoilers for the following games. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to a macabre new episode of the Demonic Compendium, the show where I discuss the mythology, design, and game history of your favorite Megami Tensei demons. Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth is finally out, giving us the cast of Persona 3 in a series of movies, and only one demon comes to mind when I think Persona 3 and cheesy movies. So get ready for unpleasant dreams, because today, we're talking about Nyx. Nyx is the goddess of the night in Greek mythology, and was born from Chaos, the being that existed prior to all creation. Along with her brother/lover, Erebus, they were some of the first beings brought into existence. Nyx and Erebus had several kids together, including but not limited to Moros, Hypnos, Nemesis, Thanatos, the Fates, and Eris. As one of the Proto-Geno, Nyx existed long before the Earth and most major gods in the Greek pantheon, to the point where even Zeus tread carefully so as not to anger her, and that dude was known for giving zero Fs about pissing people off. Nyx made her home in Tartarus, along with her sons Thanatos and Hypnos, though perhaps she had some shared space disagreements with her daughter Hemera, as whenever one of them would come home to Tartarus, the other would simply leave, creating the cycle of day and night. I imagine Hypnos and Thanatos would always just give each other awkward glances at the breakfast table whenever this happened. As a personification of night itself, Nyx is neither good nor evil. She can bring death or sleep, but seems to have no bias and show no preference. While Nyx was never specifically worshipped at temples dedicated to her, she was very frequently worshipped by a plethora of cults, who would proselytize non-followers at the temples of other deities. Nyx's compendium entry from Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne refers to her as the goddess of the night in Greek mythology. She was born out of chaos and gave birth to many offspring, including Light, Aether, Day, Hemera, Death, Thanatos, and the Morai sisters, among others. Design-wise, this is where Nyx most reminds me of New Cinema Labyrinth. Much like a few previously mentioned demons on this show, Nyx's design is rooted in pop culture, and with that low-cut dress, beehive hairdo, and curvaceous figure, is it any surprise that the Goddess of the Night is based on none other than the Mistress of the Night, Elvira, a character portrayed by Cassandra Peterson, who hosted the TV series Movie Macabre, and was known for her very big opinions on schlocky horror films. Nyx's design from Devil Summoner has many of the same inspirations, and the low-cut dress still feels like a nod to Elvira, but has a body made out of the starry night sky, which seems like more of a reference to classic artwork. This style would also be used later in her Persona incarnations, such as the Night Queen from Persona 1, and even the Nyx avatar from Persona 3. Speaking of Persona 3, Nyx has her own design here as more of an astral being. This body resembles a giant egg, in a direct nod to her own birth, where in some tales the children of Chaos were born from a silver egg, though in some stories the children of Nyx herself also came from a silver egg, so maybe that's just a family thing. But throughout all of her designs, the love letter to Elvira remains the most iconic for me. Oddly enough though, this design originated in Shin Megami Tensei 2, but Nyx's sprite in that game is not based on the artwork, and instead uses a modified Titania sprite. As far as game history goes, Nyx generally doesn't have major roles. In fact, apart from a small NPC role in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, as a demon she's been mostly absent from the franchise. No Raido, no Devil Survivor, not even Strange Journey or the SMT4 titles. In Nocturne, Nyx is mostly remembered for owning her own lounge in Ginza, befitting a goddess of the night. As a bar madam, Nyx is privy to a lot of sensitive information, and often gives the Demi-Fiend helpful tips. But that doesn't mean that Nyx is a name Megaten fans are unfamiliar with. Nyx is best known for her role as the final boss in Persona 3. Nyx exists as an interdimensional being, and is said to be the mother of all shadows, so presumably Personas as well. Don't know how she connects to Philemon and Nyarlathotep and such though. Nyx created the Shadow of Death to act as the Appriser, who would summon her to Earth and bring about the end of the world, known in Persona 3 as the Fall. The revival of Nyx plays a major role in the story, even prior to the start of the game, as Mitsuru's grandfather performed experiments on the shadows. Feathers from Nyx are known as plumes of dust and played roles in the Persona 4 arena games, as the plumes inside of Labris and Sho created their latent persona abilities. In the latter's case, the entire Minazuki personality came from this plume, and in the former's, I like Labris. True to her mythology, Nyx's ability to end the world is seen more as an act of nature rather than malevolence. At the very end of Persona 3, after Seize defeats the Nyx avatar at the top of Tartarus, Makoto Yuki ascends to the moon and created the Great Seal. Not to keep Nyx in, but more to keep Erebus out, for if the two are reunited, it will mean the end of the world. The many details of Nyx and how she connects to Persona 3 could easily turn this into a 20-minute episode, so let's move on and remember that Nyx's first major Persona role was actually in Persona 1. In Revelations Persona, she was known as Nothing, because she was only in the Snow Queen quest, which was cut from that game. While not specifically called Nyx, the Night Queen used a modified Devil Summoner design, whose minions had Hypnos, Nemesis, and Thanatos as their personas. Because of this and Persona 3, Nyx is one of only a small handful of demons to be a final boss in more than one game. With Nyx's connection to Persona 3, Persona 3's connection to New Cinema Labyrinth, Persona Q2's connection to movies, movies' connection to Elvira, and Elvira's connection to Nyx, I hope you've all enjoyed this ring of logic as much as I have. And so there you have it, Nyx, the massive memoried movie macabre mistress of moonlight, mortality, and muse of memento mori. Did I leave out something you thought was important? Was I just plain wrong about something? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to let me know who you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. That's going to do it for this episode of the Demonic Compendium, and I'll see you next time. But be careful while you rest that a demon doesn't take over your body.